Hi, I'm Christina Simone, and this is my sixth sermon, my postmodern sermon. As many of you may know, I have two little boys, and we have always homeschooled them. Our oldest is in fourth grade and is in the throes of learning long division. As with any new concept that we teach him, that we have come across with him, we've had to find new and exciting ways to teach him. We've had to figure out how he learns and then teach him according to that concept. One of the ways that I was explaining was to assert the absolutes of math. I told him that numbers don't change, that 4 will always be 4, and that 3 times 9 will always equal 27. Math is very logical. Numbers are always very reliable, that you can depend on numbers and values to be unchanging. As I heard myself using the words logical, reliable, dependable, and unchanging, I asked myself what else I could compare that to. I was attempting to try to give him more examples, other ways to look at how math is unchanging, reliable, dependable. And I quickly realized that there really was nothing on this earth that I could use to compare. Everything changes. At some point, everything is unreliable. As hard as we try, even we as humans become undependable at some point. Everything except God. God is the absolute example of a logical, reliable, dependable, and reasonable item. And actually, math should be compared to him. I realized that I probably needed to give God as the example first, and then explain that math was just like God, instead of God was just like math. The King James Version of Hebrews chapter 13 and 8 tells me this. It says that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever, and I know that I can rely on that. It's a promise. I think we've all heard the instruction to trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not on our own understanding as instructed in Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5. But God promises that if we will trust in him and everything that we are, that there are great rewards and an eternal guarantee. My car came with a guarantee, but it only lasts 5 years. And I shop using a card that offers rewards, but only for the first 2 years and only on qualifying purchases after that. There is nothing and no one that offers the kind of absolute guarantee program, unchanging, reliable, dependable, as God. Even my marriage will end in death. For God made promises that last forever, that we can rely on forever. Psalms chapter 119, verse 89 says that forever the word of the Lord is settled in heaven. That means forever. Not just a time frame, not just something that is unreliable or changing or bending. His word comes with a forever guarantee. Isaiah chapter 58 and 8 promises that his righteousness shall go before us, and the glory of God shall be my reward. So I get rewards and a guarantee. This is so much better than even math. The glory of the Lord is part of the reward program. Yes, please. Luke chapter 6, verse 23, and Revelations chapter 22, verse 12 speak of the final day when God is coming, and the great reward is to be with God. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 and 24 says that everything you do for the Lord, because he will give an inheritance. There's a reward program. All I have to do is be obedient. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 16 reminds us that all scriptures are given by inspiration of God. So everything in there I can rely on. It's a promise I can depend on. Psalms chapter 18 verses 30 tells me that God's ways are perfect. My guarantee on my car will run out at some point. There's a time limit on the rewards program that I use for my card, and I can't count on a whole lot of things in this life. But I do know that 4 will always be 4, and 3 times 9 will always be 3 times 9, and that God will always be reliable, dependable, and unchanging. It's my prayer today that you already have this understanding, and if you do, I might ask that you take a few minutes to thank God for all of his promises and the rewards in this life, and even those that are still to come. There are so many rewards that we are yet unaware of, even those who have complete faith in God. Even those of us that have read the book and know the ending are still unaware of all of the promises and all of the rewards. If for some reason you haven't arrived to this place in your life that you know some absolutes about God, I urge you to search this out. Start right now. Use the Word of God to find out the promises that are absolute, unchanging, unbending, that are reliable. Just begin to talk to God. Ask Him to reveal His promises to you and ask God to show you His rewards program. I promise you, there is nothing in this world that you will find that will be as unchanging, unbending, and reliable as God. The Word of God promises that every word in it can be taken seriously. That God will do everything that He said He'd do. He will be our victor in battle. He will be our stronghold. He will be our watchman, and He will be our salvation. We can rely on these things, just as we know that 4 will always be 4. I would encourage you to take the time to understand and to search for yourself the reliability of God, that each one of His promises are for you and are everlasting.